One track, two cars and a stopwatch. It's the fifth gear shootout. And this time we want to have our cake and eat it, as we sample a pair of machines that whose style can carry a family in comfort, yet hurl themselves at the horizon if you fancy pressing on. We're talking about super saloons, and these two in particular, the Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio and the Audi RS5. We first drove the Giulia back in 2018, and along with just about everybody else in the motoring world, we absolutely loved it.
It's got a really great front end.
Since then, it's been treated to a mild upgrade, so should be even better. And the fifth gear team also gave the RS5 top marks a couple of series ago. Performance Audis are often fast, but thanks to their four-wheel drive system, can be a bit dull. However, the RS5, well, it was a real eye-opener.
I think I might prefer this over the C63.
Really?
Yeah.
So, two cars that have massively impressed us in the past, and that just begs the question, which is faster around the 2-mile Castle Combe circuit? The Alfa, well, it's got a bit more power, but with drive-through all four wheels, the Audi should have more grip. It's bound to be a good contest. Let's start with the Italian job.
Quadrifoglio means four-leaf clover, and it first appeared on Alfa Romeo racing cars exactly 100 years ago to wish the driver luck. You know, I've got no idea if it worked. Chances are it didn't. But it's appeared on Alfa's most sporty, top-of-the-range models ever since.
The Alfa was developed by a small team of designers and engineers, and rumour has it they were largely left to their own devices.
So no one from the top four made them fit 20 cup holders and, you know, some park and all recliners.
Consequently, the Giulia focuses on the key principles of making a car go fast, one of which is weight.
1,620 kilos.
That's pretty light for a 5-seater saloon. It keeps trim thanks to an all-aluminium engine, aluminium subframes, and a liberal use of carbon fibre, including the bonnet, front splitter, and even the prop shaft.
So what's pushing it along? Well, we've got a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 kicking out 510 horsepower and 600 newton-metres of torque.
Mix those ingredients together and this Alfa will hit 62 in 3.9 seconds and go on to 191.
Tasty.
And all that is delivered through the rear wheels. But the barroom bragging means little if the car won't handle.
What's the chassis like? Do you know what? It's quite softly sprung. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's quite relaxing to drive.
However, suspension systems that are more pliant can sometimes suffer from poorer grip. The Alfa has an electronic diff to help counteract this by reducing power to the wheel that's losing traction whilst boosting power to the one which has it.
That said, I think the diff is a little bit soft and I'm getting quite a lot of inside rear wheel spin. Just a personal thing. Do you know what? This would make a fantastic BTCC British Touring Car platform. And then there's the steering. You know, most manufacturers from lot to lock are about 3 turns. And I'll show you that this is substantially less. This is 2 turns lock to lock. So straight, just more than 2 turns. Arguably, you could say that makes the car very twitchy, but I like it. If you get out of shape, you've got more chances of catching quickly.
And if you're on some private tarmac, you can do this.
That's the benefit of the quick steering lock. You know, I was probably a turn and a half in a normal car of opposite lock there, and I was only at, 3/4.
So the Giulia can be a proper hooligan if you want it to be. And there's more good news.
Now, prices start at £67,000, which when you consider the new C63 is probably going to cost in excess of 20 grand more, I think you're getting a lot of car for your money.
So the Alfa delivers at the till. Will it deliver over a fast lap?
Now, I've got 4 different driving modes. Obviously, I've whacked it in race. And start the watch. So flat round this first corner. Christ, that's quick. 125, 130, 134. Woohoo! Do you know what? Feels to me you could do with a bit more rebound in the dampers because it's quite bouncy. It's lovely to drive. That diff is soft. We get wheel spin at quite high speeds. And stop the watch.
The Alfa completes the lap of the Castle Combe circuit in 1 minute 18.2 seconds. Time for the Audi RS5.
Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that this isn't the same car we tested a couple of years ago.
Because back then we had a 4-door Sportback, whereas today I've got a 2-door coupe.
But both under the skin are identical, and they've both got identical performance.
And okay, technically neither is a saloon, but both will transport 5 people and a load of luggage in comfort, so let's not split hairs. Right then, down to brass tacks.
Now, I banged on about the Alfa's weight earlier, so it won't come as a surprise that this is heavier, you know, with all the four-wheel drive stuff underneath. However, it's not that much heavier. It's only 90 kilos heavier, which is amazing, because that's only, what, 1¼ Plato's?
But factor in the Audi's 60 horsepower deficit, and there's quite a difference in the power-to-weight ratio.
But if you think that's game over, well, think again. Yes, the four-wheel drive system does add mass, but it also adds a lot more traction. You know, 0 to 62 in this is identical to the Alfa, 3.9 seconds, which is quick.
And although the Audi's engine has less power, it has exactly the same torque at 600 Newton meters.
In fact, the engines are very similar.
Because the RS5 also has a 2.9-litre V6 twin turbo.
Let's give it a bit of a nudge. The Alfa will rev to 7,000, this is 6.5. I mean, it's a rocket ship. I mean, what, 140 mile an hour? Woo! Now, during normal driving, 60% of the power is pushed to the rear wheels in this Audi, but, you know, under other conditions, that can go up to 70%.
And like the Alfa, the rear differential can overdrive the outside wheel, which Audi claim gives the car more of a rear-wheel drive feel. It was this that Vicky and Karoon particularly liked.
It was an Audi that had quite a loose rear end. Fan-flipping-tastic.
Audi call this sport differential. Now, I didn't get to drive the car last time out, so will I agree with my colleagues who called this sporty? Absolutely. This, for me, is quite a step forward from Audi's traditional saloon balance. I mean, it's incredibly sure-footed. I mean, you can almost drive it with one eye. There's still an element of Audi understeer, but it's much better than previous ones. I mean, I like it. I think it drives well.
Prices for the RS5 start at 74,000. That's 7 grand more than the Alfa. Is it worth the extra cash? Well, let the fast lap decide.
Any predictions on the lap time? I think it's going to be quite a bit quicker. Start the watch. But you know what? It's got great entry poise. It's just glued to the road.
By the first checkpoint, the Audi is 0.7 of a second ahead of the Alfa.
I mean, I'm really hard on the power, much harder than I would be on the Alfa.
By the second checkpoint, the Audi is 1.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, it's bloody quick, this thing. And stop the watch.
The Audi crosses the finish line in 1 minute 16.3 seconds, 1.9 seconds ahead of the Alfa.
This is probably the best four-wheel drive saloon Audi I've ever driven, actually.
Both of these cars are brilliant at what they do. Thanks to its rear-wheel drive setup, the Alfa, well, it's a bit more fun on the limit. However, the grip provided by the Audi's four-wheel drive system is more than enough to overcome its lower power and greater weight. It's properly impressed me today, and if pressing on is the priority, it's definitely worth the extra cash. Who'd have thought it? Don't forget, if you like what you see, remember to click the subscribe button for the Fifth Gear YouTube channel to be first to see our latest content. And maybe drop us a comment below if there's a shootout that you're dying to see.